And welcome to North of the Broad. I'm Robin Zimmerman, along with our first guest, Jonathan Haupt. As you know, he's Executive Director of the Pat Conroy Literary Center, and that is where we bring you our program every month. This beautiful space, and this room is, what is this one called?
This is our education room. It's named after Dorothea Benton Frank, a contemporary Southern writer of Pat's.
And for folks that want to come and do a tour and just visit this wonderful space,
we're open Thursday through Sunday from noon to 4, and we have volunteer docents who can give guided tours at that time. And then we do off-hours tours for private groups and book clubs, and travel groups and so on.
Very good. And we like to kind of start our segment with a Pat Conroy Minute.
Yes, indeed.
And so today, this is a beautiful piece.
It's newly delivered, newly awarded as well. So our Conroy Minute today is not about Pat Conroy, but about Pat's widow, Cassandra King Conroy, who is also an acclaimed Southern writer, and she was just presented with the Harper Lee Award from the Monroeville Literary Festival, so a major Alabama Southern literary award, and she decided she wanted it displayed here at the Conroy Center.
That's very, so when was that? When did that happen?
The festival was 2 weeks ago, so this is really, really new in terms of its arrival
here. It's big and it's heavy.
It is heavy and it's pointy. It's everything you want in an award.
And it's 2 parts. Yes. I almost pushed this over.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
So Cassandra had a writing room in her home with Pat. He was always insistent that they each have their own writing rooms and their own writing lives. And we honor that here in the center. The very next room is the Cassandra King Conference Room, so that is where this will be displayed.
Well, good. We're going to jump over to April 6th, which is the Human Library, and it's your 5th edition. It's
That's
really
right.
a TCL.
It is. So this is a really popular event we've done in the community for 4 years now, 5 different times. We also replicated at Battery Creek High School as a school-specific program. But rather than check out a book off a shelf like we have here, you check out a human being and you get to have a conversation with someone from our community who's lived an interesting, complicated life, very often overcoming something that we may know nothing about outside of that conversation.
And the concept is like speed dating. You actually go to these different people and they, right? And
it is. We describe it as where oral history meets speed dating, which is a lot of fun. So there is a 2-hour window in the afternoon where you can come in, and every 30 minutes you can go check out another volunteer book, another person from our community who has a very interesting story. And in a small group, you'll get to learn about them. But we open the event with a big read, I suppose you would call it, with 2 celebrity books, 2 featured books. So at 1 o'clock when we begin that Sunday, we'll all gather in the auditorium to hear from Victoria Smalls, a famed Gullah Geechee preservationist, and her sister, Lynn Bryan, who is a retired educator. And on St. Helena, I would say that Lynn is probably as big a celebrity as Victoria, and collectively their story is really quite fascinating.
As sisters. Yeah.
Yes, as sisters from the first legally married interracial couple in Beaufort County. They are of that family, and their family story is fascinating.
Okay, and then after that, 2 to 4 is when you check out the human books.
You can check out 1 or 4 in the 2 hours, and we have a really interesting cast.
Yeah, tell us about the cast.
Some have participated before, and they're really good, and some are new timers. We have 2 retired military folks who've gone into lives and education. Karen Garris, who is the librarian at Bluffton High School, and Colonel Richard Geyer, who is now the chair of our Beaufort County School Board. Both retired military folks, both featured on 60 Minutes in a story about Beaufort, so they are celebrities in many senses.
Oh, wow.
And they're quite fascinating to get to spend some time with.
Anyone else you want to highlight?
Connie Hipp, who's one of my mentors, who's actually one of Pat Conroy's students from Beaufort High School, is participating for the first time. She is, by her definition, a serial volunteer, someone who volunteers at every opportunity to do so. But for the last nearly 40 years, she's been the head of the Beaufort Leadership Program, of which I am a graduate, and she's going to talk about that.
Okay.
We have what we might think of as a young adult book. Bria Parker, a Beaufort High School student who actually lives within walking distance of the Conroy Center, is a really popular young actress here in town. She lives with anxiety, and she's going to talk about that publicly for the first time.
Fascinating. And of course, DAYLO, the students will be assisting as well as bookmarks.
That's right. The whole thing is facilitated by students, which really sets a nice tone for the day and makes it very approachable, and those are my DAYLO kids.
Okay, very good. All right, that's going to be on April the 6th. What day of the week is that?
That's a Sunday, so Sunday afternoon. Really nice way to spend a Sunday afternoon at TCL.
Thank you, Jonathan. And we'll be right back with more North of the Broad from the Pat Conroy Literary Center.